Well, welcome back. This afternoon, we are joined by the member for Canberra, Gai Brodtmann, in the segment we like to call Make Time to Meet a Member of Parliament. So, Gai, thank you for joining us here on Keneally and Cameron.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Terrific. Ross, you were particularly keen to have Gai on, so why don't you kick off the grilling of our special guest?
I met Gai when we were interviewing members and senators for the Gough tribute, and I thought, well, here's a, pretty sparkling, smart former DFAT official that Australia hasn't seen enough of.
Thanks, Ross.
So tell me, this was a friendly segment.
You cut my segment.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, let's say the editor cut the segment.
Okay.
But we believe in full, Westminster responsibility. I take responsibility for that outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Now, was it a mistake for Australia to make Canberra its capital?
Absolutely not. You are absolutely asking the wrong girl. Next question.
Oh, I like her. She can come on any time,
What do you, tell us what you like. What do you like about Canberra?
So much. What I love is the big skies, the vista, the fact that yesterday morning I woke up and walked out into my front yard and there was a sky of balloons taking off as part of the balloon spectacular, as part of the Canberra Day long weekend activities. I love the big skies, I love being able to see the mountains, I love the community. It's the most highly educated population in the country. The people that are there to make a difference, to actually improve people's lives, to have an impact on the nation and also the rest of the world. They're altruistic. I love the people there. They're very community minded. They're very much there to make a difference.
So when did you decide that you wanted to make a difference for that community, that you wanted to represent them in the Parliament?
I have always been interested in running for politics, but I was involved in student politics in my 20s, but I wanted to have a number of careers before I did that. So, as you know, these opportunities come up very rarely, and so you've really got to seize the opportunity. But it's something I've always had ambitions to run. It's just that I wanted to have a number of careers before that.
And you have had quite a number of careers. One of those, of course, you were involved with DFAT, as Ross has already mentioned. You had particular involvement in Iran. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I worked on the Middle East desk for 2 years when I was with DFAT, and I was involved in the normalisation of the relationship with Iran. Tim Fisher was the one who initiated the normalisation. What it means is that essentially we'd had diplomatic relations, but there'd been no meaningful engagement at the ministerial level for a decade. And so I was involved in the first ministerial visit to Tehran in a decade. I was also involved in negotiating a range of agreements, banking and finance agreements, agricultural agreements, a range of sort of more MOUs than sort of full-blown trade agreements, of course. But it was just fantastic to be part of that first effort, that first step in terms of deepening the engagement with the country.
Yeah, we've got a couple of pictures. We might even have a picture of your Iranian experience.
That's
we'll
right.
see how much dexterity our production staff have.
This is not Iran. This is not Iran.
Here, I'm sorry. Now, tell us, who is the bloke on the right in that particular photograph?
That is my beautiful husband.
Yes.
It's our wedding day, one of the happiest days of my life.
Yes.
Oh,
He's a sort of ABC lefty type of a figure, isn't he?
Well, I don't know whether he's a lefty, but he works for the ABC.
Yes.
I mean, he's one minute he's accused of being a Tory stooge, the next minute he's being accused of being a communist stooge. So he's a good, objective journalist.
Okay.
Excellent.
And I worship the ground he walks on.
Don't you love that? I love hearing that.
Oh, yes.
Chris Ullman, I think he's one of Australia's best political interviewers. I will be honest with you. But anyway, tell us, what's this next image? What are we looking at?
That is actually in Osaka, and that was when I was there as part. I'd won a scholarship to look at how effectively Australia was promoting. We were promoting Australia as a manufacturing nation in North Asia, and so I went up there and interviewed business people and journalists and diplomats, and that was a dinner that I attended with a number of people from Austrade as well as
knocking back a few sakis.
Yeah.
Just
It's a
bang,
long
bang,
time
bang.
ago. Exactly. exactly.
What's the next one? Have we got any more?
I think we have a few.
This is India. I was posted to India in the mid-90s, and India had a profound effect on me personally, professionally, and most importantly, politically.
Yes.
It changed my politics. I used to be in the left of the Labor Party,
Yes.
and India changed me to the right.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving this image. Leave that shot there for a while. We
No,
need to
it's
explore
just-
this a bit more
Well,
deeply.
the thing is that at that stage, India was incredibly, well, constrained economically. There are only two types of cars on the road. There were ambassadors, and there was sort of this Fiat type other number that you saw in Mumbai, and there was just this heavy, stifling
Yes.
government
Yes.
footprint, hand in everything.
Don't we have to blame Indira Gandhi for that? When she could have tilted towards Moscow or tilted towards Washington, she tilted
Yeah, there was
towards Moscow.
towards Moscow, exactly. They had five-year plans, five-year economic
Terrible,
plans there.
terrible result for ordinary Indian men and women.
Now, this photo does look like it's from your Tehran visit.
That is from the Tehran visit. Yeah, that's the only females in the delegation.
Right, and what was it like going, what year was this again?
This was 1998.
And what was it like being a Western woman in Tehran in 1998?
It was. Look, I found the people incredibly urbane. It was at the time when the society was liberalising under Khatami, and so it was a really good time to be there. But I did find that confronting to be
wear the veil.
It was particularly
and,
confronting for me because I had to get changed when we got off the plane, and it was just the reaction from the Australian business people or the businessmen that was part of the delegation. I found very confronting.
Did you feel they were off put by it? They were startled? They were. They treated you differently?
Yeah, they treated me differently. But that was the Australian businessmen, and because they were businessmen. But I found that generally I got a great deal of respect there, and the level of engagement that I had both with men and women was wonderful. Very urbane, well-educated society.
It's a bit of, I feel so ambivalent about Iran because I mean it's like 2,500 years of sort of continuous culture, incredibly rich history. And in truth, even the hijab that the Shiites wear, they allow women to show a little bit of their hair as a kind of a gesture to femininity, unlike the sort of ISIS style.
Indeed. Now here you are. You're graduating university.
That's right, ANU.
Look at that fresh face, ready to face the world. Would you have thought you were going to be the member for Canberra on that day if someone had said that to you?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
No. And here we have now. But this is obviously which one are you?
Sisters. I'm the one on the right. I'm the eldest.
Eldest on the right. Now, you and I share some ethnic background: German, Irish, and Scottish.
Yes.
My wild card is Swedish. But yours
is Chinese.
Is Chinese. Where does that come from?
That's from my father's side, and the Chinese came out here in the gold rush in the 1850s. The German side did too. I don't know whether your German side did.
No, my German side went to Ohio. The Irish side came here to Australia.
It all tended to be around the 1850s.
That's right.
This sort of great diaspora. But they came here in the 1850s to go to the gold rush in Ballarat. And it's on my father's side and my father's mother's side.
Right.
And there's a great photo that she had that, I mean, I don't see my father anymore, but a great photo that she had on her wedding day. She got married during the Depression, and all her bridesmaids are all Chinese. And it's just a great...
So that Chinese influence, did that come through into your father's childhood or even yours?
Well, there was a lot of connection with those relatives there, and so there was a connection, but just mainly through culinary.
Good culinary. Well, that's how
culinary
I got to
skills,
say that is the majority way we all connect back to our ancestral roots, isn't it?
Mate, we're having haggis at my house 3 nights a week.
Indeed. Now, here you are. Who's walking you down the aisle here?
My mum, who's probably one of the most important people in my life, apart from my husband. Mum gave me away, and it was she had a tough life. She was brought up by a single mum in Housing Commission House, had to leave school at 15. Her mother worked 3 jobs to keep food on the table, and Mum was, when Dad left us, she was determined that we were going to be educated so we could break that cycle of disadvantage, and so she worked very, very hard to ensure that my sisters and I were educated, and that opened up enormous opportunities for us.
It's a good story. Good story. She must be proud, mustn't she?
Yeah, she's very proud.
Now, I've got to just ask in this photo,
Yeah.
who are these bridesmaids?
They're my sisters.
Beautiful.
There's Amy, who's a neurologist, and she's on the left, the blonde. And my other sister, Meg, is one of only a handful of female Masters of Wine here in Australia.
Masters of Wine.
Yes, and she has her own
Good to have that in
business
the
and
family.
travelled around the world.
Fantastic. So your mother, whose commitment to education, she just must be amazingly proud of the three of you.
Oh, yes, I think she is. She gives us a hard time, though.
Since we've had a couple of wedding shots, I feel entitled to ask, what do you like about Chris Ullman?
What do I love about? What I love about him?
Yes.
I love the fact that he's got a very strong moral compass.
Yes.
He's a very deep thinker.
Yes.
He's very committed to social justice. He was in the seminary, you may know that. He was in the seminary with Morris Fathers out at Hunters Hill
Yes.
for a number of years and then left that. But he's got a very strong sense of social justice, and he's just a really decent, good man.
Yes.
I think if anyone's spouse described them that way,
Yes.
you'd be really pleased.
You
On
wouldn't be
national
unhappy.
television
You wouldn't be
too.
unhappy with that? No.
Well, even though it's on the competing network.
Well,
you
look,
know, mention that, though.
it is the case that some of Australia's finest leaders are former Catholic seminarians. That's absolutely the case.
I was waiting for you to get that in there. As soon as she said
now,
seminary.
you are a shadow parliamentary secretary
For defence.
for defence.
Yes.
So you probably like to see taxpayers funneling a few more $100 million into the MW, Australian Manufacturers Workers in South Australian submarines. Should the MWUA, should they just walk out with a sack? I mean, should we just start funneling?
Okay.
Just pouring the cash in? Is that the way it goes?
Well, we have a look at some more pictures.
Some more pics. What else have we got?
What else
Because
have we got?
we do
Anything else in there?
promise these folks. Oh look,
Yeah.
here's the
we
last
go.
one,
What's
and I think
Oh, here we go.
this is the one we should see in terms of you. No,
That's
you
right.
look
That was a nice
resplendent.
segue.
It was a great
Yes.
segue.
Yes.
Ross is the master of the segue.
This is at Kapuka, and I was there for the passing out the graduating parade late last year, and then had the opportunity. The assistant minister actually invited me to take a tour of the training centre, and this is with a number of trainees, and they were great young people. And
Which one of these
and
is
it was
not
really
like the
interesting. There
others?
was a pardon.
Which one of these is not like the others? That's what this title
No,
is.
but what was interesting was that there were mainly young people there, but there were also there was a man there who I think was in his 40s,
Yes.
who'd gone back,
Yes.
and a woman in about
Yes.
anyone's young now, but
Well-
woman in her 30s.
I just want to say that when the Coalition hands over the Treasury benches to Labor in 2035, I would love you to be the Minister for Defence. I think you'd be terrific.
Gay, you can just save that for your campaign in the future, right there. Endorsement by Ross
Thank you,
Cameron.
Ross.
may as well just put a knife into her now. Gay Brodtmann, thank you for joining us on
Pleasure.
Keneally
Thank you so
Cameron.
much for having me.